course, there's Clem, my darling Clementine. Sorry if that's out of focus.
Nina!
This is Foul Plays calling the dogs. Oh my goodness. Most of our birds are molting right now, losing their feathers. There's just feather bombs gone off everywhere. There's George and Gracie still. Pretty hardy little guinea birds. They survived some pretty harsh winters this last few years, especially Grace. She's got some frostbite on her toe. They're hanging in there. And now we've got Mama Maggie and her babies. She is still taking care of these babies. And you can hardly call them babies. One of them is a little Roo, the one on the right. And he's crowing already, but Mama is still mothering these two. They got a little hen on the left and Roo on the right. Now you might remember from videos past that we had a little white one, and sadly we don't know what happened, but she became ill, started having trouble walking, and couldn't get up on the roost and wasn't feeding, and sadly we lost her. And that happens sometimes on the farm. Welcome back. This is Dan. I didn't mention already on the Sunny Slope Funny Farm with Foul Play, post kidney transplant surgery. I could talk for a very, very long time. I'm doing some evening chores. Don't tell Dr. Pablo. He would blow a gasket if he knew I was out with the birds. And that simply is because of the infection risk. But I had kidney transplant surgery. For any of you that are new to the channel, I know there's a couple of new subscribers. Thank you. Thanks for the great response with the duck video. We were putting in bed the other evening, and I thought, well, let's just make a short out of that. And the ducks are just really something. And our birds are molting. There's feathers absolutely everywhere, like many of your flocks, if you have chickens and ducks and guinea birds. And this is the time of year where they lose feathers and grow new ones. And we are getting very few eggs right now, and that's normal too, because of the energy that goes into the feather making, and then they just don't put energy into making eggs. But I'm back. I guess you could call it my rebirthday, August 16th. Long story short, I've had obviously like a plethora of appointments. We had to stay in Kansas City for 2 weeks post-transplant. Then we came home to the farm, and we still traveled to Kansas City once weekly. Now it's every other week. Hopefully it'll stay that way. I still have to have labs drawn twice a week. The kidney is taking. That is a good news, and thankfulness to the good Lord Almighty and our Savior Jesus, who granted me this gift of life. Now I have to say that somebody had to pass for me to get this kidney. I don't know the circumstances behind it. And here's Jazzy Jazz. Now she's behind me. Here's one of our little kittens, as you might remember. We adopted 2 little kittens, and they're growing up happy and healthy and learning how to be barn cats. Now Ziggy Bean's out running around somewhere. Someone had to pass for me to get a kidney. I don't know who it is. I don't know the circumstances behind it. But I've been following the directions of the transplant team to the letter, maybe with the exception of doing chores. Mrs. Foul Play is returned to work, and that's kind of why I'm doing chores, because I'm trying to take some of the burden off of her when she had so much to do when I was recovering, and she had to handle everything. And our grandkids watched the farm while we were gone, and it's been almost 7 weeks now, I think, since like August 16th to now is October 2nd. The heat is absolutely relentless. We are still having 90-degree days in October, folks. And then on the other side of the country, in the southeast of us, they got pummeled with disaster. And I guess you could say we're having a disaster with regards to the drought. Everything is absolutely crispy. So continuing on with regards to lab twice weekly, the kidney, like I said, is taking, and for those of you who don't know, they don't, there's a little pretty roo-roo right there. He was supposed to be a hen, but he's a roo. So if those of you who don't know, like I was saying, they don't put the new kidney, they don't replace your old one with a new one. They actually put the new kidney in your abdomen, okay, in the front. They push the peritoneum and the bowels kind of up out of the way in your right lower abdomen, usually the right lower. And the new kidney comes with a new ureter, and they hook the new ureter to the bladder. And that's a very delicate, thank you, sir. It's a very delicate surgery, and it requires some very careful recovery, limit lifting and things like that. I'm still limiting heavy lifting, although I've started farm chores again, mowing, some weed eating. I put a new tarp roof on the Motel 6.5 for winter. The guinea birds, saw that coming. The guinea birds get up there and they tear the snot out of the tarp. So I put new tarps on the Motel 6.5 for winter. And actually we're preparing for winter to some degree, trying to get some of our supplies and things in order. But but the heat is still just absolutely relentless. I know many of you were praying. Thank you for your prayers. At some point, I'll be able to write to the donor family after a number of months. I don't have that. I don't have those thoughts in my head just yet, because it's very difficult for me right now to express, oh, Mama found something, to express joy and sorrow. My joy, my recovery, my potential at a quote unquote normal life versus the sorrow that the family that changed forever with the loss of their friend, loved one, aunt, uncle, who knows, sister, mama, daughter, who knows? I don't know. But how do you express that into words? Maybe one day I'll find those words. I take many medications. Most of them, of course, are anti-rejection drugs, antibiotics, antivirals, and other pills too, like thyroid and Tylenol and things you need for your tummy sometimes. And just, I easily can take 40 to 50 pills a day. I'm not complaining. I take 3 different kinds of anti-rejection drugs. I will for the rest of my life. All right, buddy. Thank you for your observance, sir. And they're talking to each other, the other roo over there. That was supposed to be a hen. So I will take him for the rest of my life. Many of you are praying, like I said. Many of you have just been faithful to watch the videos. I am recovering. I'm recovering well. For example, first thing in the morning, I need to go draw labs again. It'll be the second time this week. Again, the kidney function is stable. It's still lacking a little bit of function, but that's only been 7 weeks, so the kidney is still for sure in shock. I can tell you that I did ask to see the kidney right before surgery, and I was already pretty tranked up by then, but I just barely remember seeing that kidney before I woke up with the new one. The recovery was a little more difficult than I thought. I'll be honest with you. It's a bit more painful than I thought. For many years, I took care of patients that had abdominal incisions with staples, and we had to get them up and get them walking, motions lotion, up and at them, crack at them, let's crack at it, and getting them up and moving them around, and now I know how that feels. I know now just how difficult that is. Right, Jazz? Right, pretty girl? Right, little bitty pretty kitty? Yes, Jazz is really something. She's a spitfire. Call her Jasmine Spaz sometimes. Her name is Jazzy May. And her brother is Ziggy Doo. So now I know how it feels. And I feel privileged and blessed that I was able to get this gift of life. I'm treating it with respect and honor as it should be. Appreciate y'all following around. I'm having a little drain damage still. I appreciate you following us. Appreciate the prayers, like I said. That's above all else. We needed them. We still need them. We got a long way to go. I'm being monitored still very, very carefully. You can see the leaves falling. And my transplant team is always one phone call away. 24/7. Please don't be annoyed by the Ruru. That's just life on the farm, folks. He's calling his girls and they're not coming. So we still keep the little flock in the Motel 6.5. So I hope you are all well out there. If you are affected by the flood, I wish I could personally help physically. I wish I could drive my truck and trailer and supplies and equipment and drive down there. I'm not in a position to do that, but I've been on my hands and knees for prayers. I've listened to a lot of testimonies from those who lost loved ones in the Southeast and their struggles, and I've listened to different interviews, and your struggles are our struggles, honestly. So in as much as you have intervened for me, we intervene for you. So this is Dan on Foul Play on the Sunny's Little Funny Farm. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. There'll be more in the future, so thanks for sitting with me for a while. You all take care. Peace be the journey. Follow Jesus.
Okay, so here's the first fight. I told you it would happen. This was just a few seconds later. And boy, she is after this girl. Margaret, your babies are fine. She didn't even go close to your babies. My goodness. Margaret Elizabeth.